Strickland has sparked controversy after responding to a social media post involving Gable Steveson following his impressive UFC debut at UFC 329. The former UFC champion referenced past allegations involving the Olympic gold medalist while replying to broadcaster Nina Drama on X. For those unfamiliar with the background, Gable was investigated in 2019 over a sexual assault allegation involving the alleged use of an object. However, prosecutors ultimately decided not to file criminal charges. Authorities stated that there was insufficient evidence to move forward with a prosecution, and also pointed to a legal gap in Minnesota law at the time regarding voluntary intoxication and consent. Following the case, Minnesota lawmakers later amended the law to address that issue. Inside the octagon, Gable made an impressive first impression by defeating Alicia Ellison in the opening round of his UFC debut. He secured a first-round knockout, making a strong statement and immediately drawing attention from fans across the MMA community. After the event, Nina Drama posted on X, joking that while Gable's UFC debut was a success, her own UFC broadcast debut did not go as planned. Strickland responded with a controversial comment telling her to just make sure he has no objects when you interview. The remark quickly gained attention online and reignited discussions surrounding the past investigation, despite the fact that no criminal charges were ever filed in the case. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Machine Gun Kelly has once again reignited his long-running feud with Conor, this time following Conor's disappointing loss at UFC 329. The rivalry between the two is nothing new and dates all the way back to 2021 when they were involved in a heated confrontation on the red carpet at the MTV Video Music Awards. The incident quickly became one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the year, with both sides offering different versions of what really happened. During the build-up to his recent return, Conor revisited that infamous altercation and explained what he believed sparked the confrontation. According to Conor, Machine Gun Kelly made disrespectful comments while he was recovering from the serious leg injury he suffered inside the octagon. Conor claimed that MGK even attempted to kick him while he was already down, something he viewed as completely unacceptable. Speaking about the incident, Conor said that MGK told him, "We don't mess with you," and claimed the singer was lucky the situation did not escalate further. Conor insisted that if someone is given the opportunity to stand ringside, they should show respect instead of trying to provoke unnecessary drama. Following Conor's defeat at UFC 329, Machine Gun Kelly wasted no time responding. He uploaded a video to social media and launched into an extended rant, making it clear that he had no intention of apologizing for anything he had previously said. He sarcastically stated that everyone expected him to apologize, but insisted he had absolutely nothing to be sorry for because, in his words, that is simply how rivalries work. MGK also responded to criticism from people who accused him of mocking Conor's age and physical condition. He pointed out that Conor is only 1 year older than him, but claimed they have aged very different. He even joked that his own knees are in great shape, using the comment to take another shot at Conor after the loss. The musician then addressed those who claimed he would never confront Conor face-to-face. MGK argued that he already had, pointing to the famous red carpet incident as proof. He claimed there were photos showing Conor swinging at him while missing completely, and insisted he never flinched during the confrontation. He even alleged that unseen footage existed showing his team throwing Conor across the red carpet, although those claims have never been publicly verified. MGK continued mocking Conor's appearance, hairstyle, and performance at UFC 329, delivering several personal insults throughout the video. He also joked that Conor's walkout lasted longer than the fight itself and claimed the performance disappointed everyone watching. The latest exchange has only added more fuel to one of the strangest celebrity feuds connected to the world of mixed martial arts, with neither side showing any interest in ending the rivalry anytime soon. Moving on to another news, it looks like we may finally have a clear picture of who Justin Gaethje could face in his first title defense. A new update from Gaethje's manager, Ali Abdulaziz, has sparked plenty of discussion across the MMA community. Taking to X on Monday, Ali shared an interesting message that immediately caught the attention of fans. He revealed that the champion's next fight will be against someone he has never competed against before, and added that he is genuinely excited about the matchup. That statement quickly narrowed down the list of possible opponents. Looking at the current lightweight rankings, the most logical choice appears to be Arman. He is currently ranked number 2 in the division, and he has never stepped into the octagon against Justin. The other top contenders have already shared the cage with the champ. Justin has previously fought Ilya, Charles Oliveira, and Max Holloway, making a fresh showdown with Arman the most realistic option available. Stylistically, this is also an intriguing contest. Arman is known for his elite wrestling, relentless pressure, and well-rounded skill set, while Justin brings devastating striking, incredible durability, and years of experience in high-pressure championship fights. A clash between these two could have major implications for the lightweight division and has all the ingredients to become one of the biggest fights of the year. For now, fans will have to wait for an official announcement, but all signs seem to be be pointing toward Justin defending his title against Arman next. Moving on to another news, Robert Whittaker has shared his thoughts following his successful light heavyweight debut at UFC 329, and it is clear that he is pleased with both the results and the experience. Taking to social media on Sunday evening, Whittaker posted a heartfelt video thanking everyone who helped him prepare for the event and reflecting on an important milestone in his career. Whittaker began by explaining that his message came a little later than expected because he spent the night celebrating the victory with the people closest to him. He expressed his gratitude to everyone who supported him throughout the training camp and on fight night, saying the win would not have been possible without the dedication of his coaches, teammates, friends, and family working behind the scenes. He also took a moment to acknowledge his opponent, Nikita Krylov, thanking him for accepting the challenge and stepping into the octagon. Whittaker praised his toughness and wished him a speedy recovery, showing respect for the competitor who tested him inside the cage. Looking back at his own performance, Whittaker admitted that he felt comfortable competing at light heavyweight and was encouraged by how he performed in his first appearance in the division. At the same time, he emphasized that there is still plenty of room for improvement. He believes there are several areas of his game that can be refined, but said it is always much easier to identify those adjustments after earning a victory rather than coming off a loss. Whittaker also hinted that fans should expect some exciting developments outside of fighting in the near future. He revealed that he has several major announcements planned over the next couple of weeks and intends to take a short break from competition while focusing on a few personal business ventures and side projects. Although he did not reveal any specific detail, he encouraged supporters to stay tuned for the upcoming announcements. He closed his message by once again thanking everyone for their continued support and promised to return refreshed after enjoying some well-earned time away from competition. Moving on to another news, Islam's longtime coach, Javier Mendez, has shared some surprisingly respectful comments about Conor following his difficult loss at UFC 329. Speaking during an interview with Submission Radio, Mendez praised Conor for having the courage to return to mixed martial arts after spending nearly 5 years away from active competition. While he admitted that he has not always agreed with Conor's behavior outside the cage, he made it clear that he still respects him as a fighter and believes his latest setback was heartbreaking to watch. Mendez explained that any true fan of the sport understands the amount of dedication required to prepare for a comeback after such a long layoff. He said that seeing a warrior train for months, make countless sacrifices, and finally return to competition only to have everything unravel in such a painful way is something that naturally earns sympathy. According to Mendez, regardless of personal opinions, it is impossible not to appreciate what Conor has accomplished throughout his career and the determination he showed in attempting another comeback. He went on to say that although he has disagreed with Conor on several occasions and does not always like him as a person, he has always respected the fighting spirit that made him one of the biggest stars in the sport. Mendez emphasized that no fighter deserves to see their return end under those circumstances. In his opinion, every athlete should have the chance to perform at their best and either earn a hard-fought victory or lose, because the better fighter won on the night. Mendez also suggested that the most disappointing part of the contest was that Conor was ultimately defeated by the situation rather than by his opponent. He said that was the part he truly felt sorry about because it is not the kind of ending anyone would wish on a fellow competitor. He believed Conor deserved the opportunity to either defeat Max or lose to Max in a fair contest where both athletes were able to compete without limitations. The respected coach also had plenty of praise for Max, highlighting the sportsmanship he displayed during the fight. Mendez explained that Max could have taken advantage of the injury and pushed even harder, but instead acknowledged that something was clearly wrong with Conor. He admired the way Max handled the situation, saying it showed the mindset of a true champion who values fairness and competition above everything else. According to Mendez, Max demonstrated the qualities of a real warrior by recognizing that he wanted a genuine contest instead of benefiting from an opponent's physical struggles. Those actions earned even more respect from Mendez, who believes moments like these represent the very best values of mixed martial arts. Moving on to another news, Khabib has shared a surprising perspective on his longtime rivalry with Conor, and according to Daniel Cormier, it shows just how much he values respect and family above everything else. Speaking on his latest show, Cormier revealed that Khabib told him he would shake Conor's hand if they ever crossed paths under the right circumstances, especially if Conor was with his family. Although the rivalry between the two became one of the most heated feuds in UFC history, Khabib believes there is still a place for basic respect when family is involved. Cormier explained that this conversation took place after Conor suffered his devastating leg injury in his fight against Dustin Poirier several years ago. Around that time, Cormier happened to run into Conor in Abu Dhabi, and the two exchanged greetings, shook hands, and spoke briefly. According to Cormier, the interaction was friendly and respectful, but it caught Khabib's attention afterward. Khabib later approached Cormier and questioned why he had been so friendly with Conor. During that conversation, Khabib explained that while he personally had no issue showing respect in the appropriate setting. He also believed loyalty to close friends should always come first. He told Cormier that if he ever saw Conor with his wife or family, he would absolutely shake his hand because that is the respectful thing to do. However, outside of that situation, his approach would be different because of everything that had happened between them over the years. Cormier admitted that he initially disagreed with Khabib's point of view, but after thinking about it more carefully and discussing it with people close to him, he realized Khabib's reasoning made sense. He recognized that Khabib had consistently shown loyalty to his friends and expected the same level of loyalty in return. Cormier then shared another example that perfectly illustrated Khabib's mindset. According to him, Khabib once explained that he had never personally had any disagreements with Jon Jones. In fact, he acknowledged that Jones is one of the greatest fighters to ever compete in mixed martial arts. However, because Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones shared such a bitter rivalry, Khabib chose to keep his distance out of respect for his friendship with Cormier. That philosophy, according to Cormier, demonstrates how seriously Khabib takes loyalty and personal relationships. Even though his rivalry with Conor included the infamous bus attack, the explosive UFC 229 post-fight brawl, and years of hostility between both camps, Khabib still believes respect should be shown when family is involved. Cormier believes that attitude says a lot about Khabib's character and explains why he has remained so consistent in the way he treats both friends and rivals throughout his career. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier has come to Conor's defense following the criticism surrounding his performance at UFC 329. Speaking on his YouTube channel, the former two-division UFC champion urged fans to avoid rushing to judgment over Conor's decision to throw an aggressive and risky kick at the very beginning of the fight. According to Cormier, combat sports are unpredictable, and the same move that gets criticized after failing is often celebrated as brilliant when it succeeds. Cormier explained that the outcome of a technique often changes how people remember. He pointed out that fans have praised fighters for taking bold risks in the past because those moments ended successfully. He recalled Fabricio Werdum charging across the octagon and throwing a flying kick at Travis Brown, comparing the moment to something straight out of a video. At the time, many people admired the creativity and confidence behind the move because it worked. He also mentioned Jorge Masvidal's unforgettable flying knee knockout against Ben Askren, one of the most iconic finishes in UFC history. Cormier noted that everyone praised Masvidal for taking the risk because it paid off instantly. In his opinion, if Conor's opening attack had connected cleanly, the conversation today would be completely different, with many fans calling it a genius decision instead of criticizing him for attempting. While defending Conor's approach inside the cage, Cormier also shared an honest assessment of what the future could hold for the former champion. He admitted that another comeback now seems much harder to imagine after yet another disappointing ending to one of Conor's biggest fights. Although he did not completely rule out the possibility, Cormier acknowledged that he is more inclined to believe another return may never happen. Despite those doubts, Cormier emphasized that Conor remains unlike anyone else in the sport. He described him as the biggest star in the UFC and said the entire fight week once again proved his unmatched ability to capture global attention. Every appearance, interview, and promotional event revolved around Conor, demonstrating that his star power remains enormous regardless of the result inside the cage. Even so, Cormier questioned whether fans would emotionally invest in another comeback if Conor decided to return once again. After years of anticipation followed by another heartbreaking outcome, he believes many supporters may struggle to fully believe in another return, even though Conor's name continues to be one of the biggest attractions in mixed martial arts. Moving on to another news, Sean O'Malley has shared an emotional reaction to Conor's heartbreaking return at UFC 329, admitting that he is still struggling to process everything that happened. Speaking on his YouTube channel, O'Malley described the outcome as one of the most disappointing moments in combat sports history and said the ending left both fighters and fans in complete shock. According to O'Malley, the anticipation surrounding Conor's comeback had been building for years. Fans waited through injuries, setbacks, and constant speculation, believing that the former champion would finally make his long-awaited return. While Conor did make the walk to the octagon, O'Malley felt that the comeback never truly began because the fight ended before fans had the chance to see what he had worked so hard to prepare for. O'Malley admitted that he had been fully invested in the event and was planning to celebrate the occasion regardless of the result. He said he desperately wanted to see Conor win, but even if victory was not possible, he would have preferred watching Conor lose after putting on a real performance rather than seeing the fight end the way it did. He explained that Conor has openly spoken about battling personal struggles throughout his career, and this latest setback could become one of the toughest challenges challenges he has ever faced. In O'Malley's opinion, a competitive loss would have been far easier to accept because it would have allowed Conor to showcase the improvements he made during his 5-year absence from the sport. Even if Max ultimately earned the victory, fans still would have witnessed the skills, preparation, and determination that Conor brought into the contest. Instead, O'Malley believes Conor never had the opportunity to display any of the work he put into training. He pointed out that years of preparation, sacrifice, and recovery were never truly seen inside the cage, making the outcome especially painful for everyone involved. O'Malley also reflected on the incredible success surrounding the event itself. He noted that the card generated enormous excitement, reportedly produced one of the biggest gates in UFC history, surpassed previous attendance records, and sold out Las Vegas almost immediately. Because of that overwhelming anticipation, the final outcome felt almost impossible to believe. He admitted that many fans had refused to believe the fight would happen until Conor actually entered the octagon. Yet even after seeing him make the walk, the comeback still ended in heartbreaking fashion. Looking back on the journey, O'Malley praised Conor's courage for returning after 5 years away and recovering from the devastating leg injury that once threatened his career. He said it takes incredible mental strength to rebuild after such a serious setback and step back into the spot under immense pressure. Although the result was devastating, O'Malley made it clear that he has tremendous respect for Conor's determination and simply wanted to show support for someone he considers a fellow fighter during an incredibly difficult moment in his career.